Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is August 7th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the marine layer kind of up against Southern California here. If you take a look at the remnants of Tropical Storm Eugene here, it will continue to weaken. However, this moisture surge is likely to move up across Southern California. We'll take a look at those details coming up here in a moment. This is looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. Hurricane Dora out there should pass harmlessly south of the Hawaiian Islands. Later in the season, though, a hurricane in this location would be of concern to Hawaii because sometimes it can make rapid turns northward. Just a nice visual simulation here on the mid-level water vapor loop for the time being. This is looking at visible satellite imagery. Check out the Bay Area, nice and sunny this morning in Monterey Bay. Some marine layer bouncing around there. You can see it working down the coastline here as well, but kind of staying off the coast for many of the areas. You can see it's infiltrated into some of the valleys there across Northern California there as well. Lake Tuolare continues to exist here across some of the basin here, some of the valley area south of Fresno there. And you can see there is still some snow across some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada here as well. This is Southern California weather history. Check it out. 1963. Look at a flock of 20,000 chickens was swept away in a flood here. There were some washouts, and it took days to repair some of those areas out there. In 1994, again, some more flooding there. It deposited 10 inches of mud in the homes of 30 families. So interesting stuff can happen this time of year. And we are going to have some moisture surge from that extratropical system move up over the area. We'll see what that brings. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. This is Phoenix, Arizona. Check it out. Continuing with the warm weather out there. They've been breaking records out there this summer as the warm summer for Arizona continues here. And you can see some of the other areas remaining quite warm as we go on in through this weekend coming up. And then here, Death Valley, look at this, 117, a couple other places, Arizona here, and then Colorado even got down towards freezing here. So a three-way tie there for 117 degrees for the high temperature in the lower 48 yesterday. This is Eugene, and as a tropical system, it is not a threat to any place on land right now, but the moisture surge associated with it is what's going to bring some potential for precipitation across Southern California. This is looking at the 500 millibar heights and relative humidity. This is the NAM3 Camo high resolution model. You can see California is here. There's Baja Peninsula down here. There's Arizona. Here's Mexico. We put this into motion, you can clearly see the remnants of this tropical system and the moisture surge associated with it, trying to move up over Southern California. Look at this little spin in the atmosphere there as we continue on in through Wednesday here. So you can see a couple days of dealing with this increased moisture is likely, and the potential for some thunderstorms, even across some of the Los Angeles metro or San Diego, for example. Some of the lower elevations could even see a thunderstorm out of this. So we're going to be watching this closely here tomorrow. This is the increase in the relative humidity cross section. You can see the dry air aloft and kind of the marine layer hanging around, and then you see the increase of moisture all the way up through the atmosphere here as that tropical system moves over the area. This is San Diego International Airport. I should say the remnants of the tropical system move up over the area, and you can clearly see that here in the cross section for San Diego as well. Here we are with the precipitable water, and there's the remnants of Eugene here, and you can see it kind of makes that right turn and moves back up over Southern California. So at the very least, you're gonna notice the increase in humidity across a lot of Southern California, Los Angeles, San Diego, all the way up into the valley areas there as well. As you see the beginning of that cycle here, much drier air, and then this surge moves in. That's what I was showing in the previous cross sections that I just went through. Now, if you take a look here at 500 millibar heights here, there's Eugene right there. But as we scroll through here, you notice that we don't have this big ridge. It's not too bad here as we go through the end of the week. I mean, it's going to remain a little bit of above average for some areas of Arizona here. But as we go into the extended, you can see this ridge start to build towards next weekend here. And maybe we'll have this upper level low that tries to keep things, our temperature suppressed a little bit here across the state of California. But we'll watch that as we get a little bit closer here. We're looking kind of far off into fantasy land here. This is August 15th shown, but good model agreement and a strong ridge building up the west coast of North America where this upper level low will set up here, still kind of in question as well. But we'll watch that here over the next few days as we scroll way off into 15 days out in the forecast here. And it's still some above average ridging here existing across some of the western portion of the USA. Here we go with 12-hour precipitation in inches. The European. So you can see as you go through today and tonight, some thunderstorm activity across Arizona. And, take what we can get this time of year. At least we're getting some precip. Again, kind of a return Tuesday. You notice you get a little bit of activity across some of the higher terrain of California here as well. And then you can kind of see that moisture surge moving up over the area. Even shows a little bit of precip all the way out to the coastline here. Better chances across the higher terrain as always. And you go through Thursday again and potentially some of that moisture moving up across Nevada, Sierra Nevada here as well. And again, the higher terrain of California is going to be favored there. This would be about Thursday afternoon. This is last night's European run that goes out 90 hours. Here we go with lightning flash density potential. This kind of tells you where the thunderstorm activity may be. You can see the round today, mainly across Arizona. As we scroll through Tuesday here, you can see some of it trying to get up into Southern California, mainly the higher terrain off through maybe some of the deserts and Arizona again. As we go through Wednesday, you'll see another round trying to get up across some of Southern California, getting a little bit close here to the Los Angeles metro here, so you can't rule out a thunderstorm here. And if nothing else, you're going to notice that increase in the moisture across the region. It's going to feel kind of sticky. This is looking at the NAM 3KM high resolution model. You can see California is here again, Baja. You can see it's a tropical storm, or the ex-tropical storm Eugene. I think it's just a depression now, but you can see the wind field associated with it. And as it moves over the cooler waters here, it continues to weaken. And that's why this tropical system itself is not a threat, just the moisture surge associated with it. You can kind of just see in those winds that just really weaken as you get towards the end of the run out there, just kind of over open water there southwest of Southern California. Here we go with Los Angeles Metro. Check out some of the Ensemble members do have some measurable precip. The control run really shows nothing there, but that doesn't mean much. These can be very difficult to predict here, and the mean shows around 1/10 of an inch here, so we'll see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed, weather lovers down there across the Los Angeles metro. This is Big Bear City. Check out the bump in precipitation versus the lower elevations here, up towards 4/10 of an inch possible, and some of these Ensemble members have higher amounts. It's going to be kind of hit and miss here depending on where these stronger storms set up across some of the higher terrain here, so pretty good Ensemble agreement that some precipitation is coming for the mountains of California. This is San Diego. A few of the ensembles do show measurable precip. Even the control has, trace maybe a couple hundredths of an inch there as this moisture moves over the area. This is day 1 thunderstorm outlook for Arizona here. Day 2 Arizona again. So they haven't really included California yet. They do bump this out to the west here through the day 3 forecast, but you might start to get this moved out to the west here. We'll see what they do tomorrow. Here we go, Bakersfield, California. So you can see the potential ridge building here as we go on in through the later portion next weekend into the following week coming up here, nice and seasonable in the meantime here as we go through this week. Here we go, Redding, California. Look at the warm up likely to come as we go towards next weekend as well, but kind of, just below average temperatures here as you go through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Here we go, Los Angeles, California, kind of getting that marine influence there, pretty close to the coastline there at LAX. You can see some big model disagreement on what's going to occur as we go through next week. We'll watch that as we get closer. Here's Burbank. You go inland a bit here, and you can clearly see the increase in the temperatures here again with some pretty big Ensemble spread here as you go on through the extended, I should say. The forecast confidence, of course, always lower the further you look out into a forecast. Phoenix should remain above average here, then the potential bump in that warmth as we go through mid-August again. Extremely warm summer for Phoenix. Looks like it's going to continue. Here we go, Sacramento, nice and seasonable. Check this out. Highs maybe not even getting to 90 as you go through tomorrow before one more warm day today. So you got about 4 days of below average, then a potential bump back up. Here we go, San Francisco, always nice and mild there along the immediate coastline, but you can see some pretty good Ensemble spread here as you go on through the extended forecast as well. Las Vegas, nice and seasonable here as we go through this week. And then we start maybe that bump up on through the extended. And I already showed you Phoenix there. Here's 6 to 10 day temperature probability outlook. The west likely to be above average. Same with the south and the southeast here, all the way up the east coast even now as you go through August 16th. And here's through August 20th. Again, the above average signal for a lot of the west coast, including California there. This is the 6 to 10 day precipitation, and you can kind of see the suppression of the monsoon versus average accumulation precipitation wise anyway. This is looking so far in August, so I've updated this morning here. We're running about a degree above average. A lot of that heat kind of central over Texas, some of New Mexico, and kind of split in half there across Arizona. And you can see Southern California starting to bounce back a bit. Washington, Oregon coastline actually getting a temperature spike there from the very warm water right off the coastline there. Kind of interesting. And the below average August so far for the Northeast. Here we go, yin and yang, east versus west as we go through August 6th, January 1st through August 6th, about 0.39 degrees above average so far. Now here we go. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. A strong El Nino would be right about here. So virtually all the European ensembles show that we are headed towards a strong El Nino. And, will that mean an above average precipitation for some areas of California? It is definitely a possibility. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But some of the European ensemble members showing a very strong El Nino setting up here as we continue to climb out of the last 3 years of La Nina conditions. And now if you take a look at this, you might say, this isn't too bad off the West Coast. What's all the chatter about? You might be seeing some of that on social media. But this is actually very warm compared to usual here off the west coast here. And, marine life develops in areas that it's used to. So when you really bump up the temperature, you can change things and you can really kill off some of the marine life out there and you cause some problems. And this shows you the temperature anomaly and just how much above average it is here, just off the California coastline here, and now off the Washington, Oregon coast, all the way through the Gulf of Alaska, across some of the northern central Pacific as well. We still have that below average tongue extending off the California coast out towards Hawaii here, but this is likely to be changed up here over the next few weeks or the next couple of months here. So kind of interesting look at things here, and you can kind of see how the Gulf of Mexico and the Hudson Bay and the El Nino area, kind of a nasty look at things here, as a lot of the oceans across the planet are quite a bit above average. But anyway, yeah, so we'll watch this moisture surge up over the area. It could be interesting, and sometimes it's an outcast situation where you're kind of looking at the top of the radar and some of the models weren't showing exactly what's going on, as maybe some thunderstorms will develop in places that you're not expecting them here too. So it's going to be worth watching the surge come up across the area, and as like always, the higher terrain is going to be favored with any kind of thunderstorm activity here. But yeah, anyway, we'll continue to watch this. We'll watch that ridge potential as we go through the extended forecast as well. And yeah, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.